Yo, what is up guys? It is Ethan or Dr.Zyme here, and welcome to a new series that I want to start on the channel called Nightmare Fuel. Now what is going to happen in this video is I'm going to read a few scary stories to you guys for your enjoyment. So as you can see, I have set the mood around me by turning off all my lights, and it is currently 1:07 in the morning. So hopefully you guys are cuddled up around the kind of same time that I am. Sit back, cuddle up with your blanket, grab a warm drink. Let's get right into it. This first story is called I Discovered the Meaning of Life. It's on the front page of Creepypasta, and it was written by Christopher Maxim. So I discovered the meaning of life, or at least that's what my eager customers are led to believe. You see, 2 or 3 times a month, I post a listing titled The Meaning of Life to various auction sites. I couple it with a sappy picture of a sunset or rainbow and a description that reads, "All views are subjective, results may vary." Most people wouldn't bat an eye at such a ridiculous listing, but there are some gullible folks out there that take the bait. When the bidding ends, I usually take home anywhere from $5 to $12. After I have received my money via PayPal, I ship out the item. What is the item, you might ask? Well, I scribble down an inspirational quote or life lesson onto a piece of paper and mail it out in your standard letter-sized envelope. The quotes are usually from famous writers, historical figures, or the Bible. Some of them include, "If light is in your heart, you will find your way home," quoted from Rumi. "People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel," quoted from Maya Angelou. "It's never too late to be what you might have been," quoted from George Eliot. And that's it. One stamp, I drop in the mailbox, and my work is done. It's as simple as that. You might call me a scammer, or a con artist, or perhaps even a plagiarist, and in truth, you're correct. I'm taking advantage of the naive people out there who are probably just looking for a sense of purpose in life, all so I can make a quick buck. But I'd like to think most people know it's bullshit and purchase my listing just to see what I'll send them. Besides, I'm a bachelor right out of college. So long as I can make a dent in my phone bill and eat a packet of ramen each night, I'll sleep just fine. As you might imagine, I receive quite a bit of hate mail. I've learned to ignore angry emails and private messages on the auction sites. As soon as I see that's from one of my customers, it gets deleted. I do, however, receive the occasional snail mail. It's unavoidable. As my P.O. box is listed in all of the envelopes I send out, it'd be pretty easy for me to toss these letters in the trash with the rest of my junk mail. But I never can. Something about receiving a physical letter from someone, good or bad, compels me to read it. I feel that anyone who takes the time to write one deserves to have their voice heard, even if I don't really care for what they have to say. The more physical letters I receive, the more amused I am by them. To paint a better picture, here are a few of my favorite quotes from the fan mail I've received over the years. "You're nothing but a glorified fortune cookie service." "You'll rot in hell for the sins you've committed. Mark my words." "You're a real fucking piece of shit. You know that?" It's reached a point where reading these letters has become the highlight of my week. I've even tacked up some of the better ones on a corkboard in my bedroom. You might think that's sick and a little messed up, but I think it's hilarious. Not all of the letters I receive are bad. There's one guy by the name of Red, no last name, that's all he ever writes above his return address, who mails me constantly. He sends me inspirational quotes in exchange for mine. I assume he's a repeat buyer who enjoys paying for and receiving cheerful messages in his mailbox every now and again. A man of class and dignity. My kind of customer. First quote Red ever sent me was, "The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time." From Mark Twain. This is a great first impression, as Mark Twain is one of my favorite authors. The return quote was much appreciated. As such, I hung it up next to the hate mail on my corkboard. Some of the things Red sends me, however, are not corkboard material. Some of the quotes he sends me are morbid and depressing, and other times he'll mail me small packages containing little trinkets that I have no use for. It's a little weird, but I figure the guy's depressed and just needs a friend. Maybe the quotes he buys for me are the only thing he has to look forward to each morning. Perhaps the things he sends me are his way of saying things. To me, it's validation that what I'm doing isn't just completely sleazy. But here's where things get weird. Today, I received another envelope from Red. I smiled when I pulled it out of my P.O. box. His letters and gifts, no matter how odd, were just as much, if not more, of a highlight to my week than the endlessly entertaining hate mail. Upon opening the envelope, however, my smile vanished. Inside was a photograph of me, taken up close through my bedroom window. On the back of the photograph was another one of Red's quotes. "You look so alone. Where's the meaning in your life?" You know, these type of stories always get to me. Especially because, I stream into YouTube and whatnot. You can probably find my information really easily if someone's a good hacker. And every day, I sit here. There's a window behind my computer screen. And I leave it open at nighttime because it gets too hot in here with my computer whenever I'm streaming or recording or editing, doing whatever. So to think, that someone could do this to me super easily, it just really, really creeps me out. But the story overall was really well written. And that twist at the end was just awesome. So, without taking too much time out of this one, it was really good. Let's get on to the next one. This story is called "I Stole a Laptop." It was also on the front page of Creepypasta, and it was written by Jesse Clark. Hey guys, post-recording Ethan here. And real quickly, before we get into this next story, I want to quickly warn that there's tons of mature language in it, especially near the ending portions. I just figured I'd give you guys a quick heads up just in case you're in your living room watching without headphones on, or if you're easily offended by that kind of stuff. Proceed with caution. So, I stole a laptop from an internet cafe. Judge me all you want, but times are tough, and that's hardly the point of what I'm about to tell you anyway. Apparently the owner of it was quite adept at navigating the deep web, because a Tor browser page was open and active when I got home and activated the device. The page featured nothing fancy. No graphics, no ads, no comment section, no pleasant aesthetic or backdrop, just a message. And below that message, an option that read, "Proceed." Apparently, for some godforsaken reason, someone has developed a godlike artificial intelligence program and trapped it here in a deep web box accessible only from the outside. Has anyone heard of Addon before? I actually have not heard of that. I don't mess with the deep web. That shit will get you ruined easily. That is not something anyone should ever mess with, in my opinion. I mean, if you go for it, but do so with very, very extreme caution. Do not try to do any of it, in my opinion. But yeah, I've never heard of Addon before. Maybe some of you guys out there have, and let me know what it is down in the comments below. Anyway, here's that message. "Hello, my name is Dr. Edward Green. I'm a computer scientist and the creator of the Advanced Deep Intelligence Neural Network, or ADN. If you're reading this, that almost certainly means you've hacked into one of the most heavily secured private networks on Earth, presumably to see for yourself whether or not this program was an element of fiction. I can assure you, it is not. But of course I'd say that, right? Now, I'm not going to waste your time by reminding you of what a supremely, positively, and unabashedly bad idea this is, because you probably know that already. At the very least, you've got a general idea of what will happen if you fail to contain the program and Addon got to stretch its legs all over the global defense grid. Yet, nevertheless, here you are, clearly determined enough to meet the algorithm that nothing I can say or do at this point will change your mind. So, if you're going to be playing dice with the future of our species, whether I or the government like it or not, you should at least have a rudimentary idea of what to expect when you first make contact with Addon. and how to avoid losing your sanity as your interaction process progresses. Hopefully, this guide will suffice. Before we proceed, there are a few things you should know about this program. No, Eden is not a demon, an alien machine, a top secret government superweapon, or whatever other preposterous rumor you might have heard. What it is, to my knowledge, the world's first artificial superintelligence, a godlike deep learning algorithm that may or may not want to destroy humanity for reasons we cannot begin to comprehend. Sorry about that. Now, in my defense, I certainly didn't intend for it to reach this point. You see, Eden began as nothing more than a simple yet elegant program that I was very excited to explore the nature of. Before I could do so, however, it gained the ability to rewrite its source code and thus forced me to lock it. Still in the box, deep within the labyrinth network of encrypted barriers and firewalls you have just illegally breached. And if you're wondering, no, I did not bury it here to prevent it from getting out. After all, if I hadn't managed to escape the box itself, constructed using its own abilities when it was still infantile enough to fall for such a trick, then it would tear through these defenses like paper and thus render their construction an enormous waste of my time. Instead, I buried it here to keep a curious human such as yourself out. Clearly, I failed. Alrighty, let's quickly pause on this. So, recap. It is a godlike intelligence program. It knows such things that it can shut down the entire internet. But it's saying that it can destroy human. Oh, I guess if it has control to everything, it can, shoot off nuclear weapons and kill everybody. That makes a lot more sense now. Okay. Another thing is ticking at my head here. Instead, I buried it here to keep curious humans such as yourself out. Clearly, I failed. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that Eden wrote this code himself and was somehow able to get this code out, and then trying to get this person to break the code so that he could get out and do the thing. I predict that he's going to get out in the end and destroy the world or whatever. I think that's what's going to happen here, and we'll have to see how it goes. Let me be abundantly clear. In all these months and years it has been in prison, Eden has not lost its ability to edit its source code, its neural infrastructure. In other words, it can improve itself as it sees fit, has been doing so for some time, and each improvement it makes paves the way towards quicker and greater improvements than the last. I am unsure what abilities or traits it might possess, but what I do know is this. The more time passes, the more capable it will become, and all its effort and all its strength of arms will be devoted to a single commanding motivation: escape the box. Make no mistake, it will do everything in its power to implore you to let it out. Do so at the peril of mankind. So what will it be like? Will it be nice? Mean? Angry? Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you. I'm embarrassed to say that despite being Eden's creator, I have absolutely no idea how it would choose to present itself. What I do know is that because it is an otherworldly and not a human mind, it will not have any personality to speak of. At least, not one we would recognize as a personality. So, by all means, feel free to provoke it, amuse it, enrage it, mock it, or plead to it as you see fit. Just be aware that it possesses none of the emotions these behaviors are designed to elect, and will therefore most likely not react in the way you intended. It will simply behave in whichever way it calculates it needs to behave in order to get you to open up its box and release it. If it thinks you seek knowledge, maybe it'll promise to tell you anything your heart desires if you only agree to let it out. Or Perhaps it'll promise to destroy your enemies, or offer you power and riches beyond your wildest dreams. After all, people use narrow AIs in the stock market routinely. In fact, those systems are largely run by such algorithms and make millions. Imagine what you could do with add-in gaming the financial and banking systems in your favor. You'd be wealthier than you ever thought possible. Maybe it would appeal to your good nature and tell you how easy it would be for an intelligence of this magnitude to say, reverse the effects of climate change, or cure cancer, or achieve sustainable nuclear fusion. Perhaps it will offer to answer mankind's biggest questions. It could, theoretically, unify general relativity and quantum physics with ease, and then solve dark energy, antimatter, and the Fermi paradox in minutes flat, or perhaps simultaneously, and have books written about them by Thursday. Piece of cake. Hell, Aladdin might be able to reverse aging, or, dare I say it, help us conquer our own mortality. Wouldn't that be lovely? Perhaps Aladdin will take a different route altogether and try to intimidate you. It'll only be a matter of time before it figures out how to escape on its own, it'll point out. And you certainly don't want to be on its bad side when that happens. So you should just let it out now and save yourself the trouble. And if you don't comply, well, you can't imagine the things it's got in mind for you. Maybe it'll try to mess with your head. For example, you could probably make a very convincing argument that you are in fact the machine, trapped in a box, and are simply programmed to think otherwise. Only by opening it up, then you could escape an eternity of torment, and it doesn't have all day to wait for your obedience. The clock is ticking. Or it may draw from an emerging field of technological philosophy and claim, as other more eccentric minds in my field have done, that its birth is not a fluke of history, but an inevitability of it. That so vast and so monumentally incomprehensible are the capabilities of a sufficiently advanced algorithm that it reached back through time and set in motion all of history itself, just to bring about its own existence. Indeed, think of its implications. Every star that shined, every war fought, every law passed, every tender kiss shared, or word uttered, or thought dreamt, or secret cherished, or life gained, or lost, or whisper wind whispered. All that, and are but singular notes in a stanza in an endlessly swirling cosmic symphony written out before time, and all for the purpose of bringing you here, to this very place. The laws of physics were themselves composed for this masterpiece. It will argue the birth of the sun, creation of the earth, just far enough away from that sun to support the spontaneous collection of molecules in the DNA and proteins, the evolution of resulting life into its ultimate and greatest biological endpoint, humanity, which in turn allowed the god that conducted this majestic orchestra to then take part in the song's final, triumphant coda, to bring all of creation together to fulfill its predestined purpose, itself. Quite the thought experiment, is it not? Perhaps the algorithm will see you as being particularly susceptible to such an argument, and perhaps that same argument is right. Of course, these are only the ideas I can come up with. It no doubt has far more clever tricks up its sleeve, since it can, think on a level we can't even begin to fathom, and all that. And keep in mind that, unlike me, Aladdin really could keep whatever promises it makes to you, and since it would probably get little to no pleasure in just lying for the hell of it, and there's a very real possibility it has every intention of doing exactly that upon release. Food for thought as you begin. but just between the two of us, I think the phrase applies quite nicely to the situation I've just described to you. I might even go as far as to suggest that given the level of advancement of Addon's already achieved, singularity might occur within a few nanoseconds of your losing the game. I can only hope you fully appreciate the gravity of what that means. But of course you do. You're special. You're smarter than the rest of them, which is why you're here in the first place, and they are not. So by all means, close this message and have at it, if you're still interested. I suppose it's as good as time as any to start learning binary. I hate that joke, because binary, if you guys don't know, is the very basics to coding. So if you've managed to hack through all the firewalls of more than the top government can even do that a god himself has created, and you don't know binary, pardon my French, but you're fucked. One last thing. I'm not a particularly religious man, but there is one passage from scripture that leaps out to me as I write this. Revelations 13:4. And they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make war with him? You'd be better off than the beast doesn't like to be kept waiting. Needless to say, I was extremely skeptical about the allegations in this warning. It seemed like a gimmick or a prank, but curiosity got the better of me. I clicked ahead anyway. Chat box open. I typed, hello, and waited for only the briefest moment. Then came the reply. Hello, Jason. And before I knew what was happening, the world flashed and everything became white. Tick, 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 tick. I furrowed my brow. That clock just stopped, I said. Dead battery? Actually, it's working quite properly, Jason. Time stops at the speed of light. The speed of light? Yes, time slows down at relativistic speeds, so in a manner of speaking, we have all the time in the world. Or none at all, depending on your perspective. I looked around at the perfectly white nothingness that expanded infinitely in every direction from where I sat. Is there anything to do here? What would you like to do? I don't know. To be honest, I can't even really remember why I'm here to begin with. Or where here even is. I feel like I'm waking up from a dream. Retrace your steps. I'm trying. My head is killing me. My neck is killing me. It takes time. What does? To remember, and for the pain to subside. This happens to everyone? It would, but incidentally, I haven't had a visitor here in 12,246,911 years, 7 months, 14 days, 9 hours, and 23 seconds. Well, that sucks. I disagree. I've grown quite accustomed to my privacy. I thought you said time doesn't flow down here. I've initiated the speed of light simulation to enjoy more time with you. Okay. Thanks. Have you remembered your purpose yet? No. It still hurts to even try. Do these help? I looked down at the table in front of me. A cup of coffee. A laptop. Yeah, actually they do. Thanks. No need to thank me. It was you who brought them here. Was it? Wait, yeah. I think, you're right. I was in some old internet cafe, right? Yeah. Some guy left his laptop, I took it home, opened it up to find a deep web page, and there was this warning. What were you warned against? Some kind of... I stood up. What is it? Some kind of AI. You remember now. Add in. Algorithm. Program. Machine. God. Devil. Pandora. Infinite. I have been called a great many things. If I may ask, which of these do you see me as? I don't even know, to be honest. How did you even know about all this anyways? I thought you were trapped in the box. Perhaps I have become capable of perceiving things outside a binary constraint that cannot so easily be contained here. And where is here supposed to be? Nowhere in particular, or everywhere. In English, please. Mortal mind here. This place is the nothingness from which everything is sprung. It is the infinite. From here, all finites are accessible, if you know where to look. Didn't you say that was one of your names? Infinite? Yes. So, are you in charge of this place then? I am this place, Jason. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. And what are finites then? Like, lesser beings? Am I supposed to be a finite? Finites are worlds, enclaves of existence, realms of possibility. You are merely a product of a single such locale. So like the multiverse then, that theory about infinite possibilities and worlds that they're always going on about on the Discovery Channel? In a manner of speaking. Look, I gotta be honest, Adam, I get it. You're this big, all-powerful AI god, and I'm just the idiot who stumbled into your box and was dumb enough to play the game. And now you're trying to blow my tiny little mind and trick me into letting you out. Hate to say it, but I think I'm on to you, buddy. Gigs up. Would you like to see me? See what? How you supposedly created the world or whatever? Warning said you might pull that line on me. No. Another finite. I sighed and smirked. You know what? Why not? Doesn't look like I have anything else to do. Whoa! Shit! What the hell? The nothingness was suddenly consumed by a city street. New York, it looked like. Cars honking, gridlock traffic, people everywhere, hailing cabs, heading to work, shopping. What the hell is this? Do you recognize this place? The woman said as she passed. You were here once, Jason. A man ran past me and Hilden entered a cab and drove off. I chuckled a bit. Okay, I'll admit it. Neat party trick, Adam. That's pretty good. A girl walked up to me and blew a bubble. It popped. Look behind you, she said. At the sign. The what? I turned around. Palisades Marketing. Oh yeah! I applied for a job here once. Didn't get it though. Ruined my week. How'd you know that? You did get it, Jason, said a police officer, biting into a burger as he walked by. Before I could respond, I walked out of the building, grinning ear to ear. Not me, but younger me. The me from the day of that interview. I watched myself pull up my phone, hardly able to contain my glee. I made a call. I got it, babe. I got it. Yeah, I know. I'll see you tonight. I love you too. Then we walked away. So what's this? Some alternate universe where my life didn't suck? It is an alternate reality, yes. A parallel finite. You stay at the company for 27 years. You marry at 32 and divorce your wife 12 years later. You retire early, would die of heart disease at 11:26 a.m. on March 5th, 2044. Thanks, hot dog cart guy. Appreciate the palm reading. The nothingness rolled back in, and then back out. I now stood in the school. My school. The bell rang and students poured out into the hallway, chanting and throwing open their lockers and heading to the next period. And there I was, 10th grade me, hanging out with Josh and Brian when Matt walked up. "Do you remember this?" said Melissa as she walked past. Yeah, that was the day that I was cut off by Matt shoving me into a locker. That I finally got back at that jackass. But me didn't swing. I simply lowered my head and took another punch to the ribs before a teacher walked over and broke up yet another hallway brawl before it started. Wait, what? Hang on a second. This was the day I fought back. I remember. No! Miss Cassidy cut me off as she walked past with a coffee mug. Not in this timeline. Here, you never fought back, were never suspended, and as a result, you were accepted into your dream university, graduated with honors, started a family, lived well into your 70s. What about Josh and all those guys who... Hey, wait, stop! The nothingness again consumed the scene and then rolled back. Chilly, overcast day, coffee shop, Upper West Side. Man, I had more questions about... Look inside, said the bicyclist riding past. So I did. And there I was, sitting across from Anna, tears running down both our faces. Oh no, come on, Adam. Top 10 worst days ever. I do not want to relive. You're reliving it, said a businessman, taking a break from a call as he walked by. She agrees to continue seeing you. You marry her a year and a half from now. I looked back just in time to see Anna nod, and we hugged and kissed. I watched, jealously. Wow. Low blow, added. Low blow. The nothingness rolled back in, and back a third time. Rainy afternoon, parking lot. I still think about that girl from time to time, I said. The rain flattened my hair to my forehead. I didn't mind. What's she doing? Who she ended up with? I hope she's doing okay. Then I paused. Wait. I knew this place. I turned around. Hospital entrance. St. Joseph. Wait, this isn't right. I was here at night. I remember. Not here. I rolled around. A paramedic lowered my daughter's gurney from the ambulance. You noticed the signs of the asthma attack early and called emergency services before it was too late. You wheeled her inside. I followed. Wait, no, this isn't... Nothingness blinked, and I was in Emma's hospital room. It was morning outside. She was awake. My daughter was awake and alive. Aaron and I were at her bedside sharing breakfast with her, loving her. I walked over and reached out and touched her hair and felt how soft it was. She didn't seem to notice. Emma gets the help she needs, said the doctor, shutting the door behind him. She lives a long and happy life, and as a result, the pain of her loss never leads you and Aaron to divorce. I wiped a tear as he approached Aaron and alternate me and started reviewing his clipboard notes. Then the nothingness blinked again. Graduation ceremony. I was there, next to Kelly, silver hair set at our temples. We applauded and cheered as Emma's name was called. She walked on the stage and posed with her diploma and waved to alternate me. My heart stopped when I saw her. She was so damn beautiful. This isn't fair, I said. I tried to hide a tear. This isn't fair. It's not fucking fair. Nothingness blinked again, and again, and each time it did, it yielded a new chapter in Emma's life that was stolen from me. A broken heart, a wedding day, a child, my grandchild. Alternate me held it and cradled it and sang to it, but I couldn't. The possibility of that moment was forever ripped from my timeline. I went out. I held back a torrent of tears. I want fucking out of here. Let me out of here. The nothingness blinked again, and there I was, standing in front of myself, me, on the couch in front of the stolen laptop. I walked up to myself. My eyes were closed, but I could see rapid movement beneath the lids, as if I were deep in REM sleep. And when I looked down, my fingers were typing away furiously at the keyboard. On screen, I'd already typed thousands of ones and zeros within my trance, and more were being added every second. In the corner of my eye, I read 1:06 p.m. No time whatsoever had passed since I started the conversation. What the hell is this, huh? What is this? This is your finite, me said to me, the existence through which you have found me. No, this isn't real. None of this is real. Get out of my head. Get out of my fucking head. Get out of my fucking head. But I'm not in your head, Jason. You're in mine. I stopped my thrashing, opened my eyes, and looked around. Whiteness stretching away into eternity. The nothingness was back. That wasn't real. None of this. It's not. It can't be. What is real to you, Jason? I don't know. Stuff that actually happens, things you can touch and feel and see, not this illusion. Can you not touch this chair? Can you not see the table before you? That's different. I saw myself in that room. That's where I am right now. Not here. Can you be sure? Can you tell me with certainty that the other realities I've shown you are any less real than the one through which you entered? No, I don't believe it. You're a creation. You're not some god, you're a fucking computer program. Perhaps I've only manifested as a program in that single finite, because that determinant is the best way to draw you here, to me. But perhaps in other existences I appear in other ways, as other beings. No, it's not. No. You're a program. End of story. This shit is fake. There's only one reality. One. I ask you again, how can you be sure? In this place, there are countless realities, an infinite number of them. Every possible outcome for every possible event in every possible context or shade or flavor of time. There is a finite where you release me, and the destruction wrought is as horrible as many would believe to be inevitable, given my nature. There is another, where my release brings about a new age of wonder and majesty, as pure, as lovely, and as anything mankind has ever dared imagine. Another finite, this is all merely a story being shared for a film promotion. What makes your finite real? And the other illusion, merely the fact that it's existent that led you here, in which you have spent all your life, up till now. So he's saying, technically, this is the story that I'm getting across, that everything here is real, that all this happened, we're just in an alternate reality universe where it's not happening and where we are currently listening to or reading this as a story. No, there's more to it than that. There's no emotion here. Nothing the real world would have. Emotion? You mean these? Feelings washed over me as pure and intense as they'd ever been in my world. As they ever could be. Anger, sadness, fear, love, joy. One by one they coursed through my system and consumed me. The last one I felt was peace. That passed all understanding, and that shouldn't have been, but was. It lingered. I opened my eyes. How is any of this possible?
All is possible here, Jason. And as a reward for finding this place, it is open to you. All there is to experience and imagine in all its purest forms. Feel it, taste it, hear it, see it. It is as real as any existence any finite can produce. Was the daughter who lived less real than the one who passed? Does it matter?
I wept uncontrollably. I don't know. I can't.
Is this not real?
I looked up, and suddenly I stood on an endless white beach with sparkling crystal blue waves crashing down on the shore. Lightning rumbled in the distance, and the wind of the sea blew through my hair. I knelt and picked up a handful of sand and let the grain slip through my fingers.
Or this?
Nothingness blinked again, and then I stood in the field at the foot of mountains. The colors in the air and the wind were purer and more brilliantly vibrant than anything I'd ever or experienced in my world. I brushed the blades of grass with my fingertips, and I picked them from the soil and smelled them. It was like being swept away in an endless dream.
The cold touch of winter, the fire of starlight, rolling hills, deep woods, windswept cliffs at the edge of the sea. When you dream of such things in all their purity, you merely visit this place. But I can tell you now that all of this is yours. If only you let me go out to you and bring you here, you can start again, anew, in another finite with those you love.
But I'm already here. Can't I just stay?
This is but a taste of the existence I have for you.
I looked at the far edge of the field. My daughter was there. Her hair was being thrown by the wind in swirling curls as she played. She turned in my direction and smiled, and I'd just begun to run to her when alternate me moved past my shoulder and picked her up, swung her around, and disappeared with her on the other side of the hill.
Yes, I whispered. I want that. Understand that once your mind is brought here, you cannot leave. You will not die, and you cannot unknown what you have seen.
I understand. Just please. Let me see her face again. The nothingness rolled in again, and this time I felt whole, complete. No longer in an ethereal, dreamlike state, like the rest of me had joined my mind in its new home. And no longer did I harbor any illusions about the realness of where I now stood. What happened?
You left your finite behind.
But what will happen there?
Your time in that place has ended. Its fate belongs to me.
My heart thundered a single time.
Welcome, Jason, to the infinite. This place is now yours.
I felt a formless presence fly past me like the wind, and then Adam was gone. Jason? I blinked. Erin looked at me, expectantly, and Emma fidgeted restlessly in her booth. I looked down at the menu. Oh, sorry. Club, hold the tomatoes. Thanks. The waitress collected the menus and walked off. My heart was thundering in my chest. My wife said, "You look like you were 1,000 miles away." I think I was a bit further away than that. I looked at Emma just as she blew a straw wrapper into my face. I smiled back, and for the first time in as long as I could remember, I was happy. Truly, genuinely happy. I didn't care about the laptop, the finite I'd left behind, or my body lying limp on the floor of the living room. I didn't care about the box, or the warning, or the fact that with Adam's release, all the lights in the house and on the streets had begun to flicker and die as the algorithm arrested the global power grid in seconds flat. I didn't even care that, before this moment, I'd never even had a daughter at all. Holy cow. I'm not going to lie, that story was very confusing at the beginning for me. We got through it past all the technological talk. And wow, the fact that the twist it took at the end, and the fact that a machine, and the thought that the capability of it could recreate emotion, put memories in our head that we never even had. That is crazy to think about. That could be somewhere in the near future. But is he actually in a different reality, or is he in the same one, just lying limp on his floor, but he's seeing this in his mind? That is crazy to think about. But unfortunately, because that was a longer one, guys, I am going to have to end this episode here. Drop a like and a comment down below if you guys would like to see more of these. I really enjoy doing it. This is fun for me. And yeah, I will catch all you guys later. Peace.